Al Capone, right? So that's how they came after him, and they got him that way, right? Because you know, and so that worked really well. They continued to use the RICO Act on a lot of different things. So people who were trying to out the Fed or write books about the Fed and this kind of thing, they would go after them through the IRS, right? They would freeze their accounts, and they couldn't, you know, couldn't operate, and so it was, you know, not so much organized crime, but they used that way to go after people who would you know, who would basically dissent and tell people about what's going on, and so they still do that today, and of course now the IRS, first thing anybody feels or says whenever they get a letter in the mail and it says the Internal Revenue Service, they go, oh shit, fuck, what do I owe now, right? So it automatically generates the emotion of fear because the IRS wants to take your money, right? What did I do wrong? And so, I mean, they still use that, and people don't realize where that came from. And the laws that were actually passed about that for federal workers, people who gained income from if they worked in a federal territory like Guam or Puerto Rico. And oh, by the way, the trust account where the money goes in from the IRS, the trust account that is held directly to pay off the interest on the Federal Reserve, the debt, is in Puerto Rico. You know, it's a federal territory. And so the tax originally was for people who worked for the federal government, had a contract with the federal government. They would be taxed on that income. Or if you gained an income in a federal territory like Puerto Rico or Guam or American Samoa, you would pay an income tax. Those people were liable for that. But and that's the only, it was a small percentage of people who paid that tax, and that's what the law actually says. That's why it's called the federal income tax.
Because we used to have this theory in America that people were free to do their money with what they want to do with it, except for those people that sucked off the government. And everyone kind of agreed to this, that if you got a federal job, if you worked for the federal government, if you were a contractor for the federal government, if there was anything that you did to make money off the federal government, you had to pay a tax. You had to make sure that you weren't sucking too much and that your money was approved. That's why you had to fill out a form. You had to fill out what you were taking from the government, and the government would then decide whether or not, based on their current rules and regulations, if you had enough or needed money back. And that's exactly where the history of that comes from.
That's right. That form is for you to let them know if you've paid too much in taxes, so they would give you a refund if you owed that tax. It's for you to tell them that no, I didn't gain an income from a federal source, therefore I do not owe a tax, and that's what that form is for.
Yeah, the 1040 still today, even today, still has on the income tax form, if you owe money to the government. They have words that says if. Okay, it's not you must pay money. It is a voluntary form. It even says if you owe taxes last year, how much do you owe this year? Yeah, it's just a total scam. I mean, people just don't understand. And now it's in the payroll, and they make it mandatory. And if you don't pay your payroll taxes in your check, then then your company gets in trouble with the payroll company. They don't even get in trouble with the IRS anymore.
If you think about it, the whole system is based on voluntary compliance. Somebody tells the IRS, the collection agency for the Federal Reserve, somebody tells the IRS that you have an income. Now, the definition of what income is on what the law actually says is a lot different than what most people think income is, because the IRS will even state, did you derive an income from a federal source?
That's correct.
But most people think that income means all of the above, all of the incoming income that I earned, any kind of income. Well, people think, well, I have to report that, and therefore I have to pay a tax on that. And there's where, therefore, the scam perpetuates, and it goes through generations, and people think that, well, I must report this, or else I will get one of those scary little letters in the mail, and they'll tell my bank that they're going to levy all my money out of my account and freeze my account. They'll send you a letter saying you've got a 30-day notice to levy your account, and you've got 30 days to go make an agreement, right, with the IRS, and they do. They say, well, freeze your account. Well, they don't freeze your account and go, okay, we're going to keep this until you make it right. No, they go in and take the money. You can't get it back unless, you therefore then try to go to tax court and prove that you didn't know that money in the first place. But most people at that point go, okay, look, I give up. I want the money back I had in my account. I'll go into the office and make an agreement with one of these administrators or IRS workers, to make payments.
Sounds like a loan shark or something.
It sounds like extortion is what it sounds like. It's exactly what it is. And
Protection money.
Protection
The banksters
Protection
are gangsters.
money from them.
Yes.
You're buying money so they don't.
That's right. They're mafia.
Okay.
They're gangsters. They're people who steal your money through sleight of hand, right?
And the whole system works on fear and intimidation.
Right.
And it works. And especially when you prop people up who are famous, who have not complied, and of course they're making, millions of dollars. We must make examples of these people and put them in prison.
Like Wesley Snipes.
Like Wesley Snipes or Leona Helmsley or Willie Nelson or, anybody else who they will, they put on the internet here's the 500 most tax evaders, and this is how much they owe, millions of dollars.
Did
right?
you know that Wesley Snipes did not actually get busted or maybe what you call indicted for actually not paying taxes? He actually got a fine at the very end for evading, like filling out a tax form, basically. His lawyer went a little far on one of the points, and he actually got fined for that. Okay, because if you lie to the government or you lie to the police or something, you can actually be held liable for that. But they don't want to tell anyone that Wesley didn't actually get assessed a fine for not paying his taxes, because on the issue of paying his taxes, his lawyer actually filed the right paperwork, and the IRS was not able to come up with an answer of what law there was to make Wesley pay taxes.
Well, he's out now, and I guess there's a new Blade movie and a new Expendables 3. He's going to be in that,
you bet
too.
he's got a different lawyer now, too, because the other guy screwed up.
A different lawyer,
Yeah.